Halito Chichukma, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. How's everybody been? I'm glad to be touching bases with you guys. It's been a while. You know, I've just been very busy getting things ready for the new change of season. You know, we're coming up on the end of the school year for the children pretty soon. So, you know, I've been pretty busy. So what's going on in Indian country news? Well, the one thing that stands out to me, I remember my husband sending me an article, as well as someone else on Instagram had contacted me about something that's going on in Virginia. It's about the Rappahanock tribe, and shout out to the Rappahanock tribe. They have been repatriated 465 acres of their traditional homelands. Now, as someone who grew up in Virginia, that's a big deal, because let me tell you something, there is no other state I can think of that tries harder to ignore their Native American population. I mean, the racism is just completely insane. And then you have all this intertribal politics because this tribe looks more white, this one looks more black. It's a whole bunch of that. I mean, listen, if you guys are from the East Coast, if you're Native out there and you're from the East Coast, you already know what I'm talking about. And if you're not from the East Coast and you're Native, then sit down and have a seat. It's a whole situation. But anyway, good for them. I mean, and the land that they got, it's like this big cliff. I don't know if it's all on a cliff, but it's this big, huge piece of land that sticks out of the water. So, I mean, when you're up there, you can look down and see the different boats that are coming down the river, because like the James River and all that, that was all like very important. I don't know if it's located on the James River or not, but anyway, yeah, so there was an article in CNN, and also the Smithsonian did an article about that. So they're going to reconstruct it as like a living village kind of thing, I guess, like for people to, you know, for tourism or whatever. But whatever they use it for is their land. They can do whatever they want to with it. So, I mean, good for them. I mean, it's nice to have land. I mean, I wish my family had some land. We got cut out of all of that. So, shout out to them, though. So, you know, I wonder, you know, oh, and also too, their chief is a female chief. Is it Chief Ann Richards? Is she the chief for the Rappahannock? I think that's their chief's name. But anyway, I've been to their traditional homelands, and it's maybe like not too far away from where my family lives in Virginia, and sometimes it's just a different feeling when you see those trees and that ground and stuff like that. It's a nice place, and I went to their community center, and you know, the tribal folks, I cannot remember the gentleman's name, and their I don't know if he's part of the council, but he works at their community center, and such a nice man. Oh my God, he was so nice and so warm and welcoming. So anyway, yeah, you know, congratulations to them. Hopefully we'll see more tribes getting more land, but you know, and people are saying, oh, because you know, Deb Haaland was involved with that. Now, Deb Haaland, now she is going to definitely benefit Indian country in a lot of ways. But let's also talk about her voting record when it came down to the freedmen, because she was not for that. So you guys can look all that up on your own. But, you know, that is a win for Indian country. And, you know, that's where having someone, a Native person and a Native woman in charge is really going to be, that's where we're really going to benefit, you know, as Native people, or at least as Native people that are, you know, Native people that are enrolled. For people that are not enrolled, that's a different situation. We still need to get people like her to be able to recognize people, you know, like us, I guess. Anyway, so, oh, another thing is hopefully soon, fingers crossed, hopefully soon I'll be having some conversation. I'll be joining another tribal person, and we'll be talking about just like tribal talk, like especially when it comes down to the issues of enrollment and not qualifying, and you know, what happens to your kids and how do you do this, and how basically how to navigate as a non-enrolled Native American, because you know, it's very controversial even within our own community about who's considered Native and who isn't. It's like, it's very impolite to say, oh, but that person's not really Native. Like in our community, we're not allowed to, it's like taboo to say that, because we never really know. We've been intermarrying for what, 500 years or something like that, right? But we know at the same time that there are Native folks, especially very prominent Native folks, who have a lot of who have very large platforms and very large voices, saying that Native people that are not enrolled, we don't count. We're not Native, right? So, you know, I have no time for that kind of nonsense. So hopefully I will be able to have, you know, bring you guys a little treat and have a conversation, but that's still in the works, so we'll see if that happens. Okay, so let's see what else is next. On the craft talk, I have just been very stagnant with my beads. I just don't know, I've been so busy knitting so much that's just all I've been doing recently. So I have so this is the most recent thing that I finished here, and this is a can you see that? Maybe I should put it back. This is just a little like a little peasant blouse, you know. I put some little ribbons and, you know, stuff like that, little flowers and stuff on it. And this is made out of mohair. Now I have I found a woman-owned yarn shop, and she actually is a yarn dyer. She dyes her own yarn, and I am like a sucker for stellina. And if you look really carefully, I hope this will focus in. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is like some sparkle there. That little sparkle is the stellina. Can you see it? Yeah. So that stellina is sometimes can be hard to find in various like skeins of yarn. So, you know, that's why I like this particular yarn dyer, because she has a lot of stuff with stellina. So also here, this is another skein of hers. And now this one is so pretty. It's like an oatmeal color. I don't know if you can see that. And it's got like all these little, it's got the gold thread in there. That's the stellina, and it's really nice. So I plan on making another top kind of similar to that. And then here's another one that she did, and this one is like, it goes into different colors of blue, like, you know, very light. It's not one solid blue color, it's like a couple of different colors, but it's got the gold thread, the stellina in there as well. Okay, maybe I can focus in a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, so right now, let's see, I've been working on something. What I have on my needles currently is this right here. This also comes from the same dyer, and this is her. So this is the ball as you see it. Is that kind of hard to see? It's like pink with very slight bits of gold in there. It's so pretty, and then it's got like the actual gold, like the sparkly stellina as well, and it is like, I am stellina crazy fanatical this year. So this is the sleeve that I'm working on right now. This is one of the sleeves, the very bottom of the sleeve, and this right here is, I've gotten maybe, oh, I'd say maybe a little more than halfway through. So this is one sleeve that's attached, and I'm doing a leaf pattern, a leaf lace pattern, which I'm not really good at, but I don't care as long as it's there. And I repeated the pattern down the sleeve. So yeah, I got to finish that other sleeve. I'll attach it on this side and then finish, you know, knitting upwards. I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I tend to do sweaters because I'm like, if I'm going to knit, I'm going to make sure it's something that I can actually like get some use out of. I really want to wear. I don't just like this whole idea of like this, you know, never ending mountain of like shawls sitting in a corner. To me, it's just, I don't have money to spend on yarn like that. That's not my thing. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of native knitters tend to do sweaters, even though they tend to do bigger sweaters, but yeah, I'm kind of having fun with that. So that's, let's see, that's that. And oh, and what I'll do, her name is Arlene, and she's on Etsy, and I will link her information below. The name of her shop is called Remii's Rovings and Yarns, and that's Remii, R-E-M-I-I apostrophe S. And again, I'll leave that link in the description below. And let's see what else. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, I haven't really. There was a mini powwow that they had around here, but I didn't go because I didn't know if it was like, I think it was like more for kids or something like that. I don't know. I was just like, like when you go to powwows, usually, I don't know about you guys, but I gotta get ready. I gotta have my outfit. I gotta have this. I gotta have that. Even if I'm not dressing traditional like Chickasaw stuff, which I mean, a lot of times when I go to the powwows, I'll just add like a couple of Chickasaw pieces to an outfit, basically. I don't go full on, sometimes I do, but not very often. Like, I think the last time probably like I dressed like in like a Chickasaw kind of look, and even it's Chickasaw with like with little alterations, because I don't do like the full Oklahoma look, because it's like sometimes it's kind of difficult, and this is like getting back into the whole identity thing and how you identify, because being from my family is that they're from Mississippi, from their traditional homelands, and they never relocated to Oklahoma during the Trail of Tears when a lot of other tribes were doing that. I feel like when I say Chickasaw, I feel like people automatically think, oh, your people are from Oklahoma, and we're not. I've never even been to Oklahoma. So I just feel like, sometimes when you talk about, oh, I'm so-and-so, I don't like to say I'm from the so-and-so tribe, right? Because, I mean, we're not with the tribe. We're from the people. So I'll say I'm from the Chickasaw people, but I don't say I'm from the tribe. But at the same time, I also don't use the term descendant, because, I mean, I feel like, I've been living, in this body and participating in my community, and learning songs, and learning language, and trying to teach those things pass those things on to my son, and try to every once in a while cook a Chickasaw dish. I mean, all those type of things. I feel like that's part of who you are. So, when the big wigs with their platforms sit and say, oh, no, well, you're not, we'll just make up a tribe. We'll say you're not from X tribe, you're X tribe's descendant. And there is a descendancy, right? But I think to tell a person that no, because your grandparents, your great-grandparents weren't at a particular place at a particular time that allowed them to be on a particular piece of paper, means that they are not of that, well, I don't want to say tribe, but they're not of those people. I feel like it's just bullshit. Right? I have no time for that, and I don't care how many degrees these people have. And I understand that the frustration can be with people who are getting these, these jobs, like in these departments, heading up humanities studies and stuff like that, and what's her name, Warren. You guys know who I'm talking about, who ran for president, Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that. Like, listen, I get that, okay? Because for me, that's a bit much too, right? Like, to me, like, you got to at least be a person of color. I mean, I'm just saying, like, we can be mixed, we can intermarry and stuff like that, but, you need to at least be a visible minority, right? So I can understand someone who doesn't, they don't, and you can tell, like, the things that a person talks about, the subjects that, some of the humor, you can tell when a person is native. You just know, and then, but at the same time, we also talk about things that have to deal with, I don't know how this is on the West Coast, but I know on the East Coast for sure, because we have so many people that are not enrolled, but they still live native, they still do their thing, they still live the culture, they pass the culture down. And let me tell you something, Indian country, you want to hear some of the best music. Now listen, I am a huge fan. I love what is it, what's that one group, oh my god, it's slipping my mind. There's this one group that I love out of Canada. They're a round dance group. Oh my god, it's escaping me. But anyway, other than those guys, I shouldn't say other than those guys, aside from those guys, there's some really good music that comes, Native American music that comes out of the East Coast, particularly out of the Southeast. The sounds that blended in with other people with the native sound as the basis it's like nothing you've ever heard. I mean, and if anybody has listened to Eulalie, for those of you all who do not know Eulalie, check them out immediately. Okay, well, when you're done with this video, they're spelled U-L-A-L-I, Eulalie. You'll never hear anything like that. You'll never hear, I mean, that's music that literally feels like it came out from the middle of the earth and just seeped out through the soil. The music gives you goosebumps. It's insane. So, you know, it's just, on the East Coast, we have a lot of really rich things that, you know, I feel like we don't kind of get credit for on the, and I can't say we, because I'm not part of, you know, I'm from the Southeast, but not from the part that where that particular type of music is made. But you think about like people, so many people that are not enrolled, and you know, for a lot of people who grow up still in those communities, it's, you know, by knowing a person's last name. That's how you sometimes identify a family, or usually a lot of times it's how you identify a family. Oh, you relate to the so-and-sos. Oh, and it's known. Oh, well, that family is, you know, oh, those folks are Tuscarora, or oh, those folks are Lumbee, or whatever, you know, and that's more like North Carolina. But where I lived in Virginia as a kid was in Virginia, on the southern part. So, you know, you had Nottaways and stuff, and then we were right by the North Carolina border. So, I mean, where you get the large numbers are your Lumbees, and I don't know what the Tuscarora population is, but they're a pretty good sized population from what I understand, but I don't know the exact numbers, but there's a fair amount of them. And, you know, for when you're living in those kind of communities, and, you know, let's say you're one town over or something, you know, sometimes for us who do not have enrollment, sometimes it is a look. So I'm going back to, you know, what I was saying earlier about, you know, some of these prominent Native Americans being upset that, you know, hey, these people, you know, what seems to be white people taking positions that are supposed to be filled by Native Americans, and every once in a while they'll pick a black person to say, oh, that person shouldn't be in that job either because they're not Native. Oh, what do you mean you're from some Bayou tribe down in Louisiana? They don't count, you know, like it's that kind of thing, right? So but for some people who don't have that that enrollment, and there's a lot, I mean, this is not just a small handful of people. There's a lot of people out there that are like that, especially because of these removal and extermination basically type policies, the likes of Andrew Jackson and stuff like that scooped people out. The whole idea was, oh, there are no Indians in the Southeast. And that was the mentality. And a lot of people still have that today, because I bet if you were just to drive to South Carolina and you're at the mall, you're just thinking there's no Native people. You're like, oh, well, that person's Mexican over there, and that person is Samoan, but you know, all these browns I see, there's no actual Native people, but they're there. And for some people, you know, when you don't know the family, sometimes it's just a look. Sometimes it's something you know when you look at a person. And that's a conversation that I've had, you know, with some other Native people. Sometimes we just know each other when we see each other. And on the East Coast, we know what that kind of mix looks like. So in spite of the fact that this person, you know, has very curly hair, or this person has green eyes, we can still see that person is a Native person. Now, whether or not they live and they grew up Native, now that's a different story, but we can identify who our people are. And yeah, it's just, I've been wanting to talk to more people about this, because I've, you know, especially during COVID, man, the panel and Zoom conversations were left and right on Instagram. They were talking about everything. And one thing that I was not hearing about was the lack of acknowledgement for people that are not enrolled, and what is their place. And usually they just kind of, the thing is that a lot of those folks just kind of stay in their little communities. I mean, you see it in places in Virginia and North Carolina and stuff like that. They just kind of stay in their little county, and then they, you know, sometimes will marry another person from that area that's kind of like them, and then they just keep having kids. And then it's kind of like, you know, they'll go to a powwow here or there out west or whatever, but they kind of know their little local world. So these kind of multiracial faces they're quite used to. And then when you get people coming in from out west going to the powwows, it can be very shocking, like, what tribe is it? I saw this reaction myself when I went to when I had some friends that were going to Shinnecock for the first time, and I mean, they're looking around and they're like, why are all these black people here? But there's Shinnecock. I mean, there were plenty of, yes, of course there were slaves, but one thing that's not spoken about also is that there were a lot of free blacks. Now, I'm not saying half, I'm not saying 25%, but there were there were various free communities up and down the coast, even in South Carolina, which I was very shocked to find out about that far south. I mean, except for Florida, but Florida was really different because Florida had a whole different situation because Florida was part of that really original colonization. Remember, all our colonization started with the Spanish, not the English, right? So in the Americas anyway. So yeah, Florida had something a little bit different going on with their native folks and stuff, but I'm sorry, not the native folks, but with their African folks. So yeah, but you had free communities of color. You know, sometimes it would just be like a little area. You know, this black family owns this home and they bought freedom for other people. Sometimes that free black person will marry into a tribe. I mean, a lot of that intermarriage that happened, especially between blacks and natives on the East Coast, a lot of it happened back in the I want to say, well, definitely in the 1700s, but sometimes the 1600s. I mean, it happened a long time ago. And then people just keep remarrying those same people. So those faces sometimes can be unfamiliar to people who don't know. But, you know, these people are still maintaining their identity, but not just identity, but practicing culture. You know, having, you know, elders luncheons and, you know, giving cedar and sage when you visit someone's home, or certain things you may do with your hair when it's time to cut your hair. If you cut, I mean, just all these different things. So, yeah, hopefully I will be able to have someone on that I can talk to about that, but we will see. You know, people are very busy, right? You know, not everybody's got all their free time in the day like I do to sit around and make videos. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I think that's about it, guys. I just wanted to share some of that stuff with you, some knitting projects and things like that. If you guys are working on anything, if you're getting ready for powwow season, if you heard about the Rappahanock, the judgment or whatever that happened, the repatriation of the land, let me know in the comment section. I've seen some more and more of you guys are starting to watch Chickasaw Chat. I will try to put these out a little bit more regularly, but I got to do it when there's really something going on. So I can't promise. I don't do these once a week. Sometimes it's once a month, but as long as you have your notification bell on, you'll know when I go or when I've uploaded some new videos. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with one of your friends. Please subscribe. I said notification bell. Take care, stay safe, and Che Pisalacho.